Hello all. In today's video, let's discuss about the fact checker. That means this identifies whether one news is it a fact or else it's not a fact. For this, first let's understand the technical flow. Now in this technical flow, we do have a source. This source can be any kind of news database or else any kind of trusted source data. This whole data we are storing in the vector DB. Now user has a question, he wants to check a fact. Now he will post the question, it will search in the vector database. Now as per to that, it will retrieve the relevant documents. Okay, then it will be linked with the LLM and the prompt. Now as per to this, it is going to answer whether the question which has been posed by the user, is it a fact or else is it a rumor. Now let's start the coding. First, let me import PyPDF loader. Let me add the file path. This is the file path. Now let me explain you what's exactly present in this PDF file. Okay, this is one story which I have generated from the Copilot. Let me explain you brief about this whole story. Okay, there is a person called Alexam, okay, who loves to gain the knowledge. Now he keeps on gaining the knowledge with through lot many sources like books, by discussing with the scholars. Okay, during his mid of the journey, he gonna meet one teacher called Vidyadhar. Even from him he will gain lot much of knowledge. Okay, he will not only gains the knowledge, he as well shares his knowledge with others. Okay, at the end he will become a wise and respected man. This is a brief about this whole story. I will as well paste this whole story in the description. You can as well get that. Okay, now what our flow will do is, okay, now this user will post certain questions related to this. Okay, now what it will check, as per to that question, it will check, you consider as like this is our trusted source. In the real world, you can consider like this is our news related database or else any other trusted source related data. Okay, this is the real data. Okay, now whenever user poses the question, it retrieves the data, and as per to that, it will say this, either this is a fact or else it is not a fact. Now let's start the coding. Let me run this cell. First let me add the code, then I will explain you what is this. To retrieve the data from this PDF, we are going to use the asynchronous code. So during that time, at times we may face the issue. To avoid such kind of issues, we're gonna add this line of code. Now let me add asynchronous code. We are storing the whole PDF related data inside this. Let me run this. I will explain you what is this. Okay, what this line of code will do is, as we are using the asynchronous, this line of code helps to manage and run this asynchronous related task. Now inside this, let's pass this, let's call this function. Now what's happening over here is, whenever we call this function, we are going to retrieve the data. Okay, once after retrieving the data, then that we are going to store in this variable. Okay, let me add the LLM. Let me import the chart graph. Okay, let me take another model. Let me take this. Let me add the API key. Let me add. I already do have this chart graph API key. Now let me enable this. Let me copy this code. Let me copy this name. Let me run this. Okay, let me run this LLM. Let me add Hugging Face embeddings. Let me copy this whole. Let me install this LangChain Hugging Face. Only by that we will be able to use this. Now the installation has been completed. Let me run this cell. This cell did run successfully. Now let's import the FAISS. It's a FAISS vector database. Let me import this. Now inside this we need to add our data and as well as the embeddings. Now let me get the documents. Now here we are storing all the documents. Let me copy that. Now we have to add the embeddings. Let me copy this. Let me install this. Installation has been completed. Let me run this cell. Now let me import chart prompt template. Now I have created one prompt. Let me paste over here. Okay, let me read this prompt for you. Okay, you are a fact checker. Okay, all the facts are given in the context. Okay, if user has asked a question which is not mentioned in the context provided, then you answer as like this: I am not aware. Okay, if user has asked a question, something is not present in the context, then you mention it's like it's not a fact. Okay, if user has asked a question which is inside the context, then you can mention like it is a fact. Okay, note, understand the user's question and understand the context. As per to that, you decide to return answer as either I am not aware, or it's not a fact, or it's a fact. Okay, over here we are sending the context. I have added the system prompt. Now let me add. Let me run this cell. Okay, I am getting the auto suggestion. Let me take that. Okay, let me run this cell. Let me add the retriever. Now let's add chaining related code. First of all, further let me import create retrieval chain. Okay, let me import these two things, create stub documents and as well as create retrieval documents, create retrieval chain. I will explain you what is this create stub document chain and create retrieval chain. Let me add the code first. Let me copy this create stub document chain. Now inside this, let me pass the LLM and as well as the prompt. Okay, once again, in the create stub documents, we are passing the LLM and as well as the prompt. Let me take this suggestion. Okay, now let me add create retrieval chain as well. Now inside this create retrieval chain, what we are doing, we are taking the retriever and as well this question answer chain. I will explain you what is this. Okay, let me run this. Now over here what it is happening is it is retrieving related documents. Now if you see over here, I have mentioned we are going to get the related documents first. Okay, so at very first we are going to get the related documents, then we are going to generate answer as per to the question which has been posed. Okay, once again let me explain. Through this line of code, we are going to get related documents as per to the question which has been posed. Okay, through this line of code, we are going to get relevant answer. Now, let's give some question. Now, in which we are posing the question? Inside this, we are posing the question, right? So, let me copy this, paste over here. Okay, I already do have the predefined questions. Let me add those. Let me print the answer. Okay, now let me run this. What the question which I have asked is it a fact that Alexom is a lazy guy? No. See, the answer which we have received, it's not a fact. Now it has written answer based on this document. Okay, as per to this document, it has written the answer. Okay, now let me pose another question. See, it has what the question which I have asked is it a fact that Vidyadhar is a teacher of Alexom? It is a fact. According to the context, Vidyadhar was a traveling scholar. Okay, it has mentioned like it is a fact. Now, let me ask something which is not at all present inside this document. Okay, I want to ask something which is not at all present inside this document. Okay. See, it has mentioned like I am not aware. The question which I have asked is it a fact that James is a good person? But nowhere in our document we have described about the James. Okay, let me ask about one more question. See, even what the question which I have asked is Alexom is the tallest guy, but nowhere in the document we have mentioned about his tallness. Okay, that's why we have mentioned like I'm not aware. Okay, just an add-on point. Okay, regarding this prompt, actually this is not the first time, like when I have created the prompt, this is not so this short. Actually my prompt was like this big. Okay, but whenever I have created this kind of prompt, it was not at all providing me the better result. Then I have keep on refined my prompt. At the end, when I have added this prompt, it was giving me the exact answer which I was expecting. So over here my learning is like, whenever we don't require to provide, like whenever we don't require to provide this kind of huge prompts, we can avoid it. Instead we can provide very quick and understandable prompt. As per to that, it can return the answers very well. Okay, this is my learning, just I'm sharing that as well with you. And as well, if you have learned anything from this video, please like my video and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.